Hastings, we are agreed Mrs. Castle may, as you say, attempt to do the bung. It would be wise to make sure she does not destroy the evidence against her.
Time for a raid on the safe?
Précisément. I think now would be an excellent time to remove the contents of their safe. A solidly built... But the signal lantern, it is missing. Why? Mademoiselle Gladys, will you help me by answering some questions concerning the death of Madame Marshall?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll help if I can.
You were on this floor, cleaning all morning?
Yes, sir. Just like every day. Clean, clean, clean.
Did you see Captain Marshall at all this morning?
Yes, sir. He came up to his room not long after 10:30. I heard the sound of his typewriter a little later.
When was that?
Oh, I would say about 5 minutes to 11.
Did you see anyone else on this floor this morning?
No, sir. But I was cleaning the rooms, so while I was in one, anybody could have walked past.
You cleaned Mademoiselle Linda Marshall's room?
Yes, sir. As always.
Did you do the fireplace?
There wasn't anything to do, sir. There had been no fire lit.
And there was nothing in the fireplace?
No, sir. It was perfectly all right.
Do you recall who had the late bath this morning?
Late bath? Oh, I know what you mean. I remarked to Mrs. Castle only a little while ago. I said that it was funny someone was having a bath. It was nearly 12 o'clock.
And who was it who had the bath?
That I couldn't say, sir. I heard the water going down the waste pipe. That's all.
And that's a clue, is it?
Of the utmost importance. Did you perhaps notice a bottle missing from any of the rooms?
A bottle, sir? What kind of bottle?
No, Hastings. The glass bottle found at the bottom of the rocky bath.
No, sir. I don't think I've ever seen that bottle before.
Thank you, mademoiselle. You may resume your duties.
Yes, sir? No more jars to open?
No. That is happily all in the past.
This looks important. I will keep it in my notebook. This room belongs to Mr. Blatt. I say, Poirot, not the usual kit for a gentleman sailor. A revolver, apparently owned by Horace Blatt. The revolver is loaded.
What's this? What are you doing in here?
I have been charged with investigating the murder of Elena Marshall.
I don't believe she was shot. Was she?
No?
Then kindly return my property to me.
Unfortunately, we have no choice, Hastings. No, Hastings. I will leave him to himself. Monsieur Redfern, may I impose upon you again?
Of course, Monsieur Poirot. My nerves are a bit steadier now.
Monsieur Redfern, how long had you known Elena Marshall?
3 months?
I understand you met casually at a cocktail party?
Yes, that's how it came about.
Captain Marshall tells me that you and his wife did not know each other well.
That's not exactly true. I saw a fair amount of her one way and another.
Was your wife aware of your friendship with Madame Marshall?
I believe I mentioned to my wife I'd met her.
But she did not know how often you were seeing her?
Perhaps not.
Did you arrange to meet Madame Marshall here?
I suppose it's no good my fencing with you now. I was crazy about the woman. Mad. Infatuated. Anything you like. She wanted me to come down here. Well, I would have agreed to do any mortal thing she liked.
Did Madame Marshall return your regard?
She pretended to. But I think she was one of those women who lose interest in a man once they've got him body and soul. See here, I've told you the truth. But how much of this has got to be made public? If it all comes out, it's going to be pretty rough on my wife. I know. I may sound like the worst kind of hypocrite. But the real truth is, I cared deeply for my wife. The other? It was a madness. Kind of idiotic fool thing men do. But Christine is different. She's real. Badly as I've treated her, I've known all along that she was the person who really counted. I wish I could make you believe that.
But I do believe it, monsieur. Have no doubt that I do believe it. Was Madame Marshall afraid if her husband learned the truth?
She was a bit nervous, yes. I'm not sure I'd go as far as to say afraid.
Was there talk of marriage between you and Madame Marshall?
No, never. Elena was perfectly satisfied married to Marshall. He's a well-respected businessman. She never saw me as a possible husband. I was just one of a succession of poor mutts. Just something to pass the time with.
And yet knowing this did not alter your feelings for her?
No.
Had you an appointment with Madame Marshall this morning?
No. We usually met on the beach.
Were you surprised not to find her there this morning?
Yes, I was. Very surprised. I couldn't understand it at all.
Can you think of a reason why she went to Cutter's Cove this morning?
I haven't the faintest idea. It wasn't like Elena.
Do you know of anyone in London who might have the grudge against her?
Honestly, I can't think of anyone.
Do you know anyone with the initials J.N.?
J.N.? You mean Jimmy Nash?
Tell me about him.
Well, Jimmy was just one of the crowd. A photographer. Took a splendid picture of Christine and me, as a matter of fact. But now that I think of it, I did hear he and Elena were an item at one time. Haven't seen much of him lately. I'd heard he got himself into some sort of trouble over money. He just dropped out of sight. Monsieur Poirot, if there aren't any more questions, I think I'd like to be with my wife.
Of course, monsieur. I think you will find that she would like that as well.
Afternoon, sir. Care for a cocktail?
No, I thank you, Henry. May I inquire of your movements this morning?
Seeing to my duties as usual, sir. Cleaning up in here, checking stock, helping make the dining room ready for lunch. Mrs. Castle can vouch for me.
Merci.
Poirot, is it true? Is she dead?
It is true, Monsieur Lane.
You remember our conversation yesterday about the reality of evil?
Colonel Weston has put me in charge of the investigation. There are some questions I therefore must put to you.
I understand.
Will you tell me of your movements today?
Willingly. Well, thanks to you, I spent a delightful day hiking over to St. Patrick in the Coombe. Started off round 8. The church is about 7 miles from here. A very pleasant walk up and down the Devon hills and valleys. I ate those sandwiches in a spinney. I visited the church. Oh, it has some fragments. Only fragments, alas, of early glass. Also, a very interesting painted screen.
Did you see anyone? The vicar or the verger?
No, there was no one about, and I was the only visitor. It's a very remote spot.
Is there anything you heard or saw that can help us?
All I can tell you is this, that I knew, as soon as I saw her, that Arlena Marshall was a focus of evil. She was evil. Since Eve, woman has been man's downfall. She can drag him down to the level of the beast. Arlena Marshall was a woman such as Jezebel and Aholibah. Now she has been struck down in her wickedness.
No, not struck down. Strangled. Strangled, Monsieur Lane, by a pair of all too human hands. Monsieur Lane, why were you forced to leave your church in Brixham?
I told you. I became ill.
Press him, Hastings. Now! Did either Millie Parsons or Alice Corrigan belong to your church?
No, but I knew what they were. A man named Gideon Fell. An innocent schoolteacher hounded by police. He was a member of my flock.
Did you preach of Jezebel and Aholibah when Millie Parsons and Alice Corrigan were murdered?
The truth must be told. God's vengeance must be proclaimed.
Were you fired because of your beliefs?
I am not the first to be martyred for the truth.
I think that I have nothing more to say to you.
As you like.
Well done, Hastings. I think that if Monsieur Lane wishes to see the true nature of evil, he need only gaze into his own mirror.
Hello? Need the sea tractor, do you?
Yes, please?
On me way. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Poirot, but Gladys told me about your phobia. How you don't want gents opening jars for you and such. I sympathize with you. I've an uncle who had a phobia about opening doors. If there was no one around to open a door for him, he'd try crawling through a window instead. Then he got stuck in a window once and wouldn't go near them either. He lives in a tent outside Swansea now. Bitter cold some nights, but he seems happy at last.
Ah, Major Barry.
It's true then? Mrs. Marshall has been murdered?
It is true.
Shocking. Most shocking. Of course, I can tell you after being in an Indian hill station, what you don't know about human nature isn't worth knowing. Matter of fact, this reminds me of a case in Simla. Fellow named Robinson. Was it Ramslan? Anyway, he was in the East Wilts, or was it the North Surreys?
Major Barry.
Doesn't matter, really. Quiet chap, you know. Went for his wife one evening in their bungalow, got her by the throat. She'd been carrying on with some fellow or other. By Jove, he nearly did for her too. Surprise us all. Quiet chap like that.
You see an analogy to this case?
Well, that is to say, never said anything about Marshall. Quiet, but a thoroughly nice chap. Wouldn't say a word against him in the world.
You were not at the hotel today?
No, wanted to do some telephoning. The post office here isn't very private, so I drove over to Kingsbridge. Had a bit of bother with the motor earlier on, but young Jenks patched it up, so off I went. Almost ran down that fool cat and dog on my way up the high street.
You were quite taken with Mrs. Marshall, were you not?
You know I was, man. Have the decency to let that drop, will you?
It is a case of murder, Major Barry. Poirot does not let anything drop. What time did you leave?
Just before 10.
What time did you return?
Only just now.
The drive? It is that long?
Well, no. Bit embarrassing for an old campaigner like me, but I got lost. These confounded lanes, twisting and turning all over the place. Damn confusing part of the world.
Did you speak to anyone in Kingsbridge?
Want me to prove an alibi, eh? Saw about 50,000 people in Kingsbridge, but that's not to say they'll remember seeing me. Was there anything else?
Can you think of anything else?
Nothing. I'm out of it. Right out of it. My motor car is running like new, Mr. Jenks. Thank you.
My pleasure, Major. Thanks to you, Mr. Poirot. I found a winch handle for you. What do you want with a winch if you haven't a sailboat?
One must start somewhere, my friend. Are there any telegrams for me?
I'll just check. Of course, sir.
Ah, there you are, Poirot. What can I do for you?
Do you have the background checks on the suspects?
Yes, here they are.
Any news on Jimmy Nash, the photographer?
I haven't received the report yet, but your inquiry got Scotland Yard very excited about something.
I will be curious to hear what they find. Good day, monsieur.
Like a ride to the island?
Yes, please.
Let's be off then. I have a theory about the murder. What if it wasn't murder at all? Suicide. I know what you're thinking. I know it's difficult to commit suicide by self-strangulation. But what if Miss Stewart was choking on something like a chunk of apple or something?
Can you row me to Cutter's Cove?
Mr. Poirot, after your efforts to find Millie's killer, I'll row you any time you like. You need only ask me. Climb in.
Hello, this seaweed wasn't here before. A sandwich tin. Good Lord.
You must taste it, of course, Hastings. But do not expect to find this is a box of powdered sugar.
Too right. A hidden passage. Now we're getting somewhere. For heaven's sake, it looks like an army has marched through here. Poirot, the invasion.
I think not, Hastings. These are not the footprints of many men, but of one man only, passing here many times. This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder. From the Smugglers' End pub via the tunnel, it is 28 minutes. This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder. From the monastery ruins to Cutter's Cove via the tunnel, it is 11 minutes. And that, my friend, should be the last timing we need to determine how much time would be needed for any of our suspects to reach Cutter's Cove. Of course, they must also make their way from the scene of the crime as well.
Hello, another compass. This wasn't here before. And it's smashed. No good at all anymore.
A stroke of luck, that. It will make things easier in the end. You do yourself a credit, mon ami. Bravo. A discovery of significant importance.
I say, that looks like one of those doors you find in old monasteries. What do you call them?
A monk's door, Hastings.
Hello. What have we here? Mrs. Castle's wire recorder. I'd almost forgotten about that.
Hello? Need the sea tractor, do you?
Yes, please?
On me way. Is it true Mrs. Castle has seen you?
The sandwich tin from the cave? It contains heroin, beyond any doubt.
Linda? Linda? Linda, dear, I'm having dinner in my room. Would you like to join me? Linda? Linda? Good Lord, Linda! No! Help! Someone help us! It's my daughter! Please!
The doctor was called immediately. Mademoiselle Marshall's stomach was pumped. It was a near thing, but she was safe.
Thank God. The trial was purchased for her, of course, not her stepmother.
Yes, she is caught between two worlds, Hastings. Not the real world and the supernatural, but childhood and adult. We have seen how she played up to Will Jenks. Was it just for a shovel to build her polo matin? I do not think so. I would advise speaking with her as soon as we return to Seadrift Island. You must learn if anyone attempted to goad her into it, whether all of the items we discovered in her fireplace were put there by her, and above all, you must try to put the poor child at ease.
She didn't kill her stepmother, and then try to commit suicide in remorse?
No, Hastings, she did not. Consult the pushpins on the map. The picture they tell is based on the times we have gathered during our interrogations.
Someone lied?
Hastings, you may expect a murderer to lie.
Oh, right you are.
Of more importance is that someone thinks they have told us the truth.
Time to unmask the murderer?
No, my friend. The smugglers of the heroin must first be apprehended. They are the last obstacle that stands between you and the true secret behind the murder of Arlena Marshall. For them, a small trap must be laid. And so, what do we know of the smugglers? Tell me who you think is involved.
Mrs. Castle. The drugs are being smuggled in via submarine.
While it is true that fifth columnists may resort to such tactics, in this case, I think not. A submarine to carry the sandwich tin? It is too much, I think, for so little.
North. He's no birdwatcher.
Excellent, my friend. Yes, Mr. North from London with his criminal background seems an obvious choice.
Will Jenks.
He has access to the boat, as he tells us himself. However, would he aid us in obtaining the winch handle that opens the secret tunnel from Cutter's Cave?
Horace Blatt.
Indeed. Monsieur Blatt with the hardware store that is not doing as well as he would have us believe? He earns his income elsewhere. What are the clues to their plan?
The color of Blatt's sails.
Red and white. Oui, bien. What do they signify?
Red tells north to wait.
When the red sail flies, Monsieur waits and watches.
White tells north to wait.
No, my friend. The heroine, it appears when the sail it is white.
Red tells north the heroine is ready to be picked up.
Bah, Hastings. North does nothing but lurk about when the red sail is used.
White tells north the heroine is ready to be picked up.
Exact. That is when North makes his move to collect it. The murder. It throws the plans of Monsieur Blatt and Monsieur North into disarray. They dare not retrieve the sandwich box from the scene of the murder, with so many police tramping about. So, we know three things which will help us capture them. The first, they assume the heroine is still where Monsieur Blatt hid it in the cave, for no outcry has been raised. Second, once it is in their possession, the safest route off the island will be back through the tunnel they have used so many times before. And third, we have the means to stop them in their tracks. What do we possess that Monsieur Blatt must need most desperately to navigate the tunnels beneath the island?
The compass.
You have it, my friend. The compass is necessary to navigate the maze of tunnels. We have found the broken compass of Monsieur North. Only the compass of Monsieur Blatt remains. And how can we render it useless?
Throw it off with the sliver of magnet we found in the garage.
Yes, of course. We return the useless compass to Monsieur Blatt, replace the sandwich tin, and the trap, it is set. Now all that remains before we return to Seadrift Island is the last clue concerning the magical finger of suspicion.
Before you give me the last clue, may I see how I am doing so far?
But of course, present the clues you have so far and your interpretation of them. If you choose correctly less than half of the time, I will give you an additional hint, along with the final clue. Power was the first clue.
Power. Not magical power, certainly.
Must you state the obvious? The second clue was lamp.
The lamp must be on so that we can see the finger of suspicion.
And these are the easy questions. The third clue, it is desk.
The wires from the lamp to the finger of suspicion are in the desk.
And the wires? They are very cleverly concealed too. The fourth clue, it is drawer.
You close the drawer every time you operate the finger of suspicion.
Your observation does you credit. The power it runs through the desk. The drawer, it is a logical choice for the switch to turn the machine on and off. So, the finger of suspicion is powered by the lamp through the wires hidden within the desk. Closing the desk drawer closes the circuit to allow the current to flow. Clue 5 is an easy one. Magnet.
The finger is controlled by the magnet you gave me.
That magnet remained on the filing cabinet except when you tested it on the device. And the sixth clue, the telephone.
The telephone is disconnected.
Only to the outside line. It is connected to the finger of suspicion. Unfortunately, my friend, your little grey cells have failed you. But never fear. The clue is code. Only he who dials the correct code can make the finger operate correctly. And here is your hint. If you have discovered the inventor of this ingenious device, you will hold the answer to the code in your hands. And now, Hastings, when you are ready, we will return to Seadrift Island to speak with Mademoiselle Marshall. Prepare our trap for Monsieur Blatt and North, and enlist Colonel Weston's aid in their capture. It is late afternoon.